What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Michelle Renee from IamMichelleRenee.com. And I got one of my closest friends in the whole wide world, my line sister, and just another dope Black woman, Miss Deidra.Willis. What's up, sis?
Hello, hello, hello. What's going on, Michelle?
Nothing much. I'm so glad to have you. I'm so glad to
I
have
am
you here with
so
us.
excited to be here, have this conversation with you. See, the shine
Absolutely.
and the greatness that you're doing and how you're having the ability to change the world by speaking to folks. So I'm excited to be with my friend, my dear friend today.
Yes. Well, tell the people who you are, where you're from, and what your brand is.
Absolutely. So, hello, everyone. I am Deidra Willis, the Deidra Willis. I would say who I am. I am a unique individual that is very intentional, yet assertive, very kind and loving. But I'm really a person who is here to impart change, to make impact. I am from Mississippi, born and raised in Grenada, Mississippi. And I would say my brand is really myself. Like when you think about a brand, it's what you represent, what you carry. So character, again, being intentional, being someone who is trustworthy, and being someone who actually can change lives, a trajectory of mindsets is my brand.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And in that, she is a certified financial planner. Tell us
Yes,
a little
indeed.
bit about that.
Absolutely. So I know it seems like, a lot of big letters and the whole name, but certified financial planner is a big deal. I would say, what I set out to do many years ago when I decided I wanted to pursue this career of managing wealth, building wealth, helping people be very strategic and focused when it comes to living life on their own terms, to go the furthest you can go with getting the designation and the certification that set you apart. So a certified financial planner is a board certified professional at the highest level you can have when it comes to financial services. And so what that means is that we go through rigorous testing. I feel like I've been in school for some years, let's say that. So you go through a lot of testing, a lot of credentials you have to have. And then not only that, but you have to still continue to maintain. And with that, at the end of the day, you have a different standard and a different level of care as a fiduciary. So that's a little bit about a certified financial planner.
Nice. Okay. So let me give you a little bit of background. Deidre and I got our start together. She's my line sister. She's also one of my classmates from Mississippi State University, where you majored in business, correct, Dee?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
She got her business degree, and then from there kind of began the work in financing. So tell us a little bit about what brought you to deciding that, you know what, I don't just want to do corporate financing, I want to do financial planning. What made you shift that mindset from the corporate piece to the personal finance?
Would you believe, Michelle, that even before you and I met many years ago on the campus of Mississippi State University, I already knew I wanted to be a financial advisor.
Really?
I did. I didn't know the route to go or to take. Matter of fact, you probably can remember me sharing some tips even when we were in school and
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about money. But this is when I first knew this is what I wanted to do. So this is what I would first say. I would encourage everyone to get your kids involved early.
Hmm.
So it dawned on me, no one taught me about money. Let's be clear. No one taught me about money. I'm the youngest of seven growing up in our household. So I believe everybody taught me about money. Let's be clear, right? So I learned by just watching everyone, paying attention to the conversations and the discussions and how that made us feel. And also different strategies that, with a huge family, you have to employ. So you become very savvy. But I learned being a steward very early at church. And so I just started picking up those tactics. I applied it and I wanted to do it. And then when I truly graduated and I saw, the steps that I were taking, I wanted to share that with others. And so it has always been part of me. It has always been something that would never go away. And so I was in corporate America 8 years before I decided to take that leap and become a practitioner and operate my own practice. But when I say it has been worthwhile, it has truly been worthwhile.
Absolutely. Like, I love that you refer to it as taking a leap, because we know by leap you mean a leap of faith, to say, I'm going to step out on faith and really apply what I know to be true and what I've learned and what I've studied to really power my business and then continue to educate others. Because one of those things that you do that I think has been powerful, like you said, you, since the very beginning, have been an educator of a sorts when it comes to finances, leading different workshops, leading different trainings and things like that. I know you've had a busy day even today of sharing wealth trainings and wealth management strategies. So when you think about wealth management, and I talk a lot about, mental health and wellness, part of mental health and wellness
Oh,
and
yeah.
physical health and wellness goes with your wealth management. When people are worried about finances, it makes them ill. So what role do you think, how important do you think that is in the Black community to make those kind of
Mm.
decisions early and to be well educated
It is so important. And when I tell you, I got a little bit of chill bumps by you asking that question, because your health is truly your wealth, and your wealth is also your health. In other words, if you don't have your health, I don't care how much wealth you've amassed, does it really mean a lot?
on? Yep.
And on the flip side, to continue to be healthy, oftentimes our heart are not healthy when there are things heavy on us. Stress, how am I going to figure out different components? So they definitely intertwine. Oftentimes, Michelle, when I'm sitting down with someone, I might hear this statement: I didn't mean to turn this into a therapy session. But so much about money is psychological. So much about money is behavioral, our mindsets, right? So we really have to start shifting things that are of importance, particularly money, so we can be healthy. And in the Black community, we know that there is an opportunity and a huge disconnect when it comes to our relationship with money. So what I would say is that taking the time to figure out you and figure out, why do I view that way and when it comes to spending, or why would I choose to make this purchase, or why would I choose to use this credit card? And nothing is wrong with all of those, but am I also choosing the positive habits around managing my wealth as well and making sure that I'm healthy? Because if we don't do a good job, as I mentioned on the other side, managing our health, well, guess what? We may use all our money to take care of ourselves from a health standpoint. So it's critically important that we really work to have financial health, financial fitness, and being well balanced across the board.
Absolutely. Now, your brand's mission is to be the trusted advisor, firm of integrity, and catalyst of change, whereby having a positive life impact on the lives of people daily. And your intentional aim is to educate and infiltrate the minds with financial literacy and enable sound financial decision making, thus creating general wealth and a legacy. How do you go about ensuring that that mission is something that you're not just saying out loud, but that actually happens? Like, how do you get your clients to know the importance and understand the importance of all those components?
hmm First thing I have to do personally is make sure, before I have the opportunity to speak with someone, is always take it seriously. This is someone's life that you have the ability to be a part of on this journey, guide them, bring clarity. So I'm always mindful, Deidra, this is a really serious matter for the person who's sitting across from you. And on that flip side, I think what I do really great is I listen. I listen to what everyone has to say. I bring it all together. I help to break it down. And so when you take the time to truly become intentional and become more interested than interesting, then it shows. And so I would say that's definitely my aim. I believe also in having undivided focus. So I'm not going to be doing a million things when I'm having a conversation with someone. So it's the approach and also how I show my clients that I'm truly coming from a care standpoint. I really want to hear what's important and show you that I truly have your best interest so that you do feel as though I'm a trusted advisor, catalyst of change. I'm giving you the
Babe,
know-how and the information.
that is so critical. Like,
Oh, yeah.
with knowing that you have to build that relationship, because you're talking about money, and then in some instances you're talking about death. you're talking about life insurance, you're talking about, you know, what happens after, and developing a plan for that after piece. I think it's a hard conversation because a lot of times we find ourselves in our community not prepared, right? So how do you come to people with that conversation of the importance of being prepared for the kind of the untimely event of death, right? How do you have this conversation around, okay, we need to prepare for death the same way we prepare for life?
Yes, yes. You know, that's an excellent question. And that's also an opportunity to say, it is okay, whatever emotion someone feels. The first thing I'm going to try to do is reduce the tension. Because think about it, money is very sensitive. And to sit down with someone, in order for them to help you, you have to be transparent.
Yeah.
So I'm always going to come at that approach to where, number one, there's no judgment. Number two, I am here to listen and figure out what is best for you. So I'm always going to come at that angle. And the topic of life insurance, yeah, everyone don't want to talk about it, but most people, believe it or not, do. And what I do is I start by just gauging, how important is this to you? How important, if something were to happen to you prematurely, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it to provide for your family? Most people, it is very important. Even if they're single, even if their children are adult, it is still very important. And so from there, what I do is I just help them to figure out, okay, what is your perception? What do you already know? And then we start to talk through specifically their scenario. So that way, it's not a matter of me trying to push anything on them. I'm stating, okay, what do we want to accomplish with this? What do you want your vision and your legacy to be? And then they start to see that, okay, that makes sense. So I think getting to those very sensitive topics, I have to make sure I do it, because I don't think I would be doing my clients well, I would be doing them definitely a disservice and be remiss if I did not, but I have to take it based on where they are.
That makes perfect sense, because a lot of times, you know, when people think of folks that sell or provide insurance services, they're like, oh God, I don't want to deal with this or whatever. I don't want to go through that. But I can speak from firsthand, going through the conversation with you and thinking about my girls and thinking about my husband and thinking about the unfortunate event if something were to happen to either of us. Our biggest thing is making sure that our quality of life for our children or the person who's left back sustains, right? And I think when you take it to a more personal perspective like that and give people, look, this is your decision of how you're going to determine the way life happens without you, right? Because it needs to happen with or without you. So I absolutely love that. Now, thinking about, we've dealt with a lot of interesting illnesses, unexpected deaths, and all kinds of stuff in the midst of this 2020 COVID pandemic. Like, how has that affected your brand and your business? And what are some key takeaways that we can get from the importance of what you do from it?
Absolutely. So on one side of planning, let me say, because a lot of people may not know exactly what a financial planner may entail. So we're obviously, we think about investing, we think about wealth and building wealth, retirement, etc. But there's really two sides of the coin. You know, one is building wealth, one is sustaining wealth. So we got to protect it. The protection piece can be missed. And so that's why I'm always going to approach myself as a planner, never as a seller. But when it comes to what has happened here recently, COVID-19, just sickness and illness, what I want to first say, for us to get ahead of it, do planning when we don't have a need for it.
Right.
Do planning when we're not fearful, because what I've seen is that a lot of people have reacted in times of these. Now, it's a great thing that they have a chance to get some things in order, but I really want us to start thinking ahead and plan. And then once we get it in place, let's review it on a continuous basis. I often have reviews every year because life changes and life happens. But my brand has been solid, Michelle. When I tell you, it has been nonstop in a great way, because a lot of people definitely want to make sure they have those things in order. On the flip side, a lot of people had a lot of concerns when it came to the market early. But I'm certainly helping people with their protection, getting a lot of people insured. Actually, September is Life Insurance Month, so I'm trying to raise more awareness to make sure that everyone is getting coverage. Getting disability. Oftentimes, we don't think about the possibility of the loss of income to the household. But that's critical to anyone who's working. And so I just want to let everyone know that, yes, now is a great time. If you have not, it is not too late. Certainly do it, but continue to plan even before things happen or get to a point to where we're all a little bit freaking out. And so yeah, that has been the impact.
Absolutely. And y'all, I got to take a brief moment because my friend is so professional.
Ah,
She's always on her professional thing, and I absolutely love that. So we're not gonna clown in this session, but when you're thinking,
maybe a little, maybe.
okay, we probably gonna clown a little bit at the end, but you gotta wait for that. People, how can they get in touch with you to get your services? But I know you do something special because you will consult with people as far as like giving them like a consult type deal, right? On first interaction. So how do they get in touch with you to get your services, to learn more about what you do, and to kind of inquire as to what they might need?
Absolutely. I was so afraid just then because technology was staying you up. And for a minute my computer was going to a blue screen. I'm like, what is happening today? But anyway, as long as technology works, great. So the best way to get in contact with me is going to my website. So you can just type in Deidra Willis or deidra.willis.nm.com. And so there is information. There is a way for you to actually say you want to be contacted, and we certainly will reach out. I'm also on LinkedIn with all my information. So those are the best ways to definitely reach out, have a conversation. There is definitely no cost from a consult. And we talk about planning and figure out what is the best approach for you. So that is, the best ways. If you have number or email or something we can share with everyone, Michelle, as well, I'm happy to provide that information.
Absolutely. We want to make sure that people are taking care of business because we have seen far too many families affected by death, not just this year, but just in general. And then whole families are destroyed. I can speak for myself, being a child when my dad passed away and how it impacted our family. And my mom then having to have that singular income. It's such a thing that if you don't experience it, bless you, because that's something you didn't have to endure. But if you have, then you have a different respect for never wanting to leave your family in a position where they have to struggle on any level, especially if you've built a very nice or sustainable home. So that's very near and dear to my heart. And so I don't believe you can be over covered ever. Like cover yourself from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet and make sure that your family is taken care of. So I'm really excited about that. And there's not too many brands or businesses that I recommend that I haven't engaged with at some point. And I can say that Deidra is my financial planner and my financial advisor. And I call her about everything when it comes to money, because I want to make sure that after doing all the work that I do, my husband and I are both in education. We don't want to retire broke. Like, we don't want to retire solely also depending on pension or something of that sort. So we understand the importance of wealth building and want to build that wealth and have wealth management so that it's sustainable. Also with our kids wanting to be brands and wanting to branch out and do different things, teaching them early so that they don't topple over and not have anything later is really, really important to us. So I'm really excited to share you with people and just talk money. So if you could give 5 tips, right? Just quick tips. What would be your top 5 quick tips to share with our viewers?
Oh, that's really good. That's really good, Michelle. So first thing, money loves to work. So put money to work. And what I mean by that is start to create multiple streams of income, peel off a little bit that you can pull back on a monthly basis, and put money to work.
Okay.
The other tip that I would share is pay yourself. We already know that, but truly pay yourself. If you're going to think about any creditor that you owe, guess who should be top of the list? Yourself.
Nice.
So I want everyone to make themselves a creditor. Another tip that I would share is don't be scared. Don't be scared. Go ahead and start to think about your future right now. meaning that I want you to get invested. I want you to get in the market. The best way to figure that piece out is figure you out. How much risk am I willing to take? How long before I would need this money?
Okay.
Another tip that I think everyone could benefit from, know your worth.
You have to
So,
preach.
so when it comes to that, Michelle, first of all, we can never put a dollar value on ourselves, right? We cannot as a human being. However, don't settle. Don't settle without knowing your worth. Don't settle without knowing your benefits at work. Don't settle for making sure that you are not protected. You are your number one asset and your number one resource. So I would say know your worth, which is your earning potential. How much can I potentially earn for the rest of my life? Make sure I negotiate that when I'm in front of my employer, etc. And then protect it. Get the proper protection. If you don't have disability at work, get you something outside of work, because your income is going to be the game changer and the separator. And then the last thing I would say is I'm going to tie this together, is know your bottom line. So what's your net worth, right? Take a look at your assets, take a look at your liabilities. That is going to compute really how you appear to the bank. So while we are taking the time to build someone else's balance sheet, what do our balance sheet look like? So I would say definitely take a look at that, because then we can start to focus on debt. We can become very strategic, because all debts are not bad debts. And then we can start really building that bottom line, which is at the end of the day what we want, net worth.
Wow. Okay, so those were actually Powerhouse tips. I was talking about little stuff like save $5 a day, make sure you stop eating out. But you just gave us some Powerhouse tips, right?
Listen, because I'm speaking to some powerhouses. I'm speaking to people who are making some CEO decisions, whether in their household or at work. So I want your money to be just as powerful as that. But let's bring it all home, because the reality of it is, Michelle, COVID-19 is going on. So I hope we've had an opportunity to truly see, but if you haven't, let me give that as a tip. Analyze what is essential and what is non-essential when it comes to your money and your spending. That's number one, because we know that we've had an opportunity to spend some things, to save some things, and right now we should have discovered some extra dollars in our place and in our pocketbooks. Other small tips. So think about credit cards as a tool, not as a crutch. It should only be leverage. Credit cards are not bad. Only the end user may be the one who needs to have an opportunity when it comes to working with it and training. But when it comes to credit card, really think about this. If I can't pay this off, if I'm making this purchase that is not in my budget, do I need this? Is it taking me closer or further away from my goals? Now, granted, if it's an emergency or something of that sort, or something you've already planned for, that's a completely different scenario. But we want to start having leverage, which is what credit cards should be. And life will happen, life will change, but don't rely on it as a dependency. Just use it to what it was intended for. And here's the last thing I would say. Give yourself grace. And what I mean by that is make sure you do have a spending plan. We don't like to hear the word budget, Michelle. We don't. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. In the budget, we should have ourselves in a budget. You have to make it realistic. Not that you can do whatever you choose to do or it's an outlandish budget, but it should be a realistic budget. And when I say give yourself grace, if you start to plan for that trip, if you start to plan for that hobby that you like, for the hair that you want next month, right? Or the spa that you want, if you put it part of the spending plan, you won't feel bad about it, number one.
Very true.
Or you may not have to rely on credit cards. And again, capture the savings in it. So give yourself grace, segment accounts. If you have goals, short-term, long-term, a specific thing, make sure you segment, and it'll keep everything flowing. So those are some here and the now
amazing tips, actually. That's absolutely amazing, Dee. Thank you so much for sharing those tips. I've got one last question for you, and that's
all right.
What's one word that affirms who you are?
Look at you. You trying to stump me on this one. One word that describes me.
Or affirms you.
Affirms me. Mm. Mm. Ooh, it's hard to pick one. I'm trying to decide which one I want to tell you. Vision.
Okay, tell us why.
So let me tell you what I was toggling between. I was thinking of faith. I was thinking of vision. I was thinking of outstanding.
Okay.
And so I went with vision because I think about the affirming side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believe in write the vision, make it plain.
Absolutely.
And really, when you think about vision, it's more than just that. If we don't know where we're going, we're not going anywhere. If we really can see things clearly, everything around us might be a little bit cloudy and muddy. So for me, it's the one thing that is going to keep me on the path to my destination. And I keep that also with me when I'm speaking to someone, because we're all getting to some point. So I would say that affirms me because it lets me know that I'm purposeful, which could have been the other word as well. So yeah, that's why I decided to go with that one. I wouldn't say it necessarily describes me. I think it's kind of hard. Michelle, I would love to see what would you say my one word would be?
I would have said purposeful, because you operate in purpose, like from every aspect of who you are and who I've always known you to be. It's very purpose driven, meaning that you desire to see things all the way through. You plan for those things, but you also give yourself grace if things don't go exactly as you plan, but intentional. That's a better word.
So that was the first word that came to mind, but I didn't know if that was, yeah, intentional is definitely me. I would describe myself as that. Intentional, very strategic. Yes, yes.
And I love
absolutely.
that because it helps to drive those same things in me. So when I see you actualize or verbalize a vision or write down a vision and make it plain, you are comfortable with saying, hey, step in here with me and see if you see what I see, or see if you see a place where I can help, make this better. And it's made me more comfortable with saying, hey, D, I'm sharing this with you. What do you think? Or can you share with me some ways to improve this? And so it makes you very intentional with the way you go about things. But to have a vision and to know that this is what I desire, and now I'm going to take the steps and the plan to get there, is very intentional. So I think it's a perfect descriptor for you.
Yes, thank you. I agree with that 100%. That's me to a T.
Well, I
Even
hope
perfectly
everybody is
with the
listening,
fun.
and I hope everybody that watches this and hears this interview understands the power of being intentional and the power of planning and getting someone who is certified to do this to really help you plan out what it's going to look like and what your life can look like as far as success and wealth management, because there's so many components that go into it. We only covered a little tip of the iceberg. So having that conversation, check out my girl at www.deidra.willis.nm.com for her professional page to find out more about the services that she offers, or you can check her out at LinkedIn, Deidra Willis 1, and follow her so you can get more information. She has been highlighted in so many different interviews and different arenas for her excellence in the field. I'm so proud of you, sis. I love you. You are the bomb.
Listen,
And truly a dope Black woman, a dope Black financial planner, just dope all around. You a dope Black TT, a dope Black friend, and a dope Black sister. So
listen, honey, Michelle, nobody probably know but you how I feel about you. So I'm proud of you, as I already mentioned when we first got on. And I think that it's so great to have someone who's like-minded, but who also not only just kind of like-minded, but they talk the talk, they walk the walk. And so it's great to have someone who can exhibit the same thing and push you just because they're operating in excellence too. So you're dope. You look fabulous over there. You shining.
Thank you.
That's my girl. Michelle is my girl, yeah. I love you.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait till COVID is over so I can
Listen.
budget properly to plan a trip
And come have a visit.
and come have a visit. So I love you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you took those tips away. Please be sure to check back for more tips because I got a feeling that Deidre's gonna be coming back to share a little bit more with us because she's got some dynamic tips.
I love to.
So, yes.